Slippery Susan Sausage selects the 6 of spades from a deck of playing cards. Susan Sausage takes a pen and writes her name upon the face of the 6 of spades. After shuffling the signed 6 of spades into the deck of playing cards, Susan Sausage turns over the top playing card to reveal the King of Diamonds. The magician then takes the playing cards, and in one simple and beautiful fan of the deck, the King of Diamonds is instantly seen to transform into Susan Sausage's signed 6 of spades. Salty Susan Sausage can then inspect the playing cards, where she is invited to respond accordingly. I am Daniel Madison and this is the fan change. You alright, Susan? Would you like a cup of frozen sausages? Daniel Madison, welcome back. Thanks for being here. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you choosing to spend some time with me today. Now, in the last video, Slippery Susan Sausage signed the 6 of spades, and I taught 6 tricks in 6 minutes. Well, almost. Just as we got into the last minute, I ran out of time with the fan change, so I'm going to dedicate this entire video to teaching you in great detail a fantastic color change that I love to perform. Can be used as a color change and a control and a few other things that I'm going to teach you in this video. The other tricks that I showed you in the last video, the other 5 tricks, if you want to know them in more detail, I want to put them on a separate video and teach them in great detail, but this video is going to be a long one, so we're going to strictly dedicate the time on this video to the fan change, courtesy of the one and only sensational Susan Sausage. I am Daniel Madison and this is the fan change. The fan change relies on 2 principles. 1, a skill. 2, a deception. First of all, the skill is the most obvious one. You need to be able to execute a fan with a deck of playing cards. 2, you need to be able to execute a Tenkai Palm. A Tenkai Palm looks like this. I now have a playing card palmed in my right hand that you cannot see. This is the exposed view. This is a quite modified Tenkai Palm. I need this corner to be kind of in that window just the way it is. This is my modified Tenkai Palm just for the fan change. Once I have this card in the palm, all I need to do really now is execute a fan with the deck. I turn the top card over. The dirty hand, the palming hand, comes over and holds the deck like so. It looks like very much looks like nothing, like I'm just holding the deck with my dirty hand with my right hand, when what in fact I am doing is the deck is here. I take the deck and I line the king up over the index like so. So the king is on top of the index. I try to get it as level as I can, as lined up as I can, so that underneath the deception it looks like this. The Tenkai Palm comes over, goes on top, so you see the King of Diamonds lines up on top of the Ace of Spades like so. I can now hold everything with my dirty hand from the right angle, from the best angle. This looks like nothing, looks like I'm holding the deck of playing cards. I'm now in position to execute the deception. The way that I do this, I reach over with my left hand goes underneath the deck, ready to execute a fan. My thumb pinches down on the king, holding it in place right here. This hand does everything it can to make sure that this king is not seen. Now from this position, from the front you can't see the king. I open finger 1 and I stretch over the deck to prepare for the fan. This does a few different things. One, it looks how it's supposed to look. All I'm doing is going to fan the deck, but it also shows you the ace of spades, the selected playing card, or the subject playing card in a window. So I'm forcing you now to look into that open window, away from the deception or away from the dirty area. So my finger reaches over and I now execute a fan. The king stays exactly where it is, and the ace of spades goes underneath the king just as the king is exposed. I can now close the fan, allowing the deck to straighten itself up, leaving us with the king of diamonds, or a color change, a fan change. King in Tenkai goes over the index here. I hold everything in this hand, pinch that card down, finger one pulls the entire deck around underneath the king of diamonds, hiding the ace of spades. I close, square up, and I'm good to go. They are the basic mechanics. Now that you know how it works, I'm gonna spend a little bit of time teaching you the fan. So if you know the fan, you might want to skip forward a minute or so, and then we'll get into the intricacies of the fan change. So I brought the camera in over my shoulder so that you can get a view of exactly what I see when I'm doing this. We're going to look at this in a bit more detail. But first of all, for the people who don't know how to fan a deck of playing cards, it's only right that I teach that, because without a fan you can't really achieve this technique. The way that I fan a deck of playing cards, there are plenty of different methods out there and different ideas. For me, this is just something that you kind of learn organically, very naturally, when you're messing about with playing cards. I think everybody arrives at what might feel like the same fan, the same situation, same destination, should I say. For me, you're going to use finger 2 and finger 1 mainly. The deck of playing cards is placed right on finger 2 like so, and finger 1 and the thumb goes central at the back. So this is the grip, or at least the way that I hold a deck of playing cards for a fan. So straight on finger 2. The grip is between the thumb and finger 2. Finger 1 is going to be used in a moment to help close the deck, but the main grip is finger 2 and the thumb, like so. I take finger 1 of my free hand, and you can, if you want, square up first, thumb on the back, finger 2 on top. Thanks, Charlie. Finger 1's going to come to the side here. In fact, I'll turn this way. Finger 1's going to come to the side. Finger 1 is going to work its way from the bottom to the top as I pull the deck to my body. So I'm going to pull around this way, starting from the bottom, slowly and gently pulling it, and you end up with a very simple, easy to achieve fan. If you just press down, if you were to just press down here with your finger, have a tight grip here. If you were to just press down and pull, you also kind of get a fan, but you have more control when you push from the side and push very gently. The grip that you have on your left hand, or the hand that you're going to use to grip the deck, the free hand, the finger 1 acts very gently. The grip that you have on the actual deck, for me, it's fairly tough. Like, I am actually squeezing that deck. If I hold it too lightly, then you have less control over the spread. If you hold it too tight, you can cause problems too, especially if it's an old, kind of worn-in deck. For me, you just gotta find that nice sweet spot, and that's something that you'll just get used to when you're fanning. So that's the fan, basically, finger like this. Now the grip is still between finger 2 and the thumb at this point. What happens now underneath the deck? Finger 1 pulls back here, presses upwards, and then goes back to position, causing the deck to spin back around like so. Finger 2 helps. Finger 2 is already in position here over the edge of the deck, so finger 2 is over this, so it's breaching the end of the deck. This allows these playing cards, these bottom few playing cards, to kind of pivot or rotate around that finger 2, like so. If you flick your wrist when you're doing this, gently flick your wrist. They call it the sausage flick. If you flick your wrist like so, then you get a nice, easier close. I've seen a lot of people putting their hand here just in case the card's forward. It's a fairly easy thing to achieve. So that's the fan. Basically, that's how you fan a deck of playing cards. Now that you know that, let's look a little bit closer at the Tenkai Palm. The Tenkai Palm is an age-old palming technique. If you don't know what palming is, it is the act of hiding one or more playing cards in a hand secretly, deceptively, where nobody can see. The Tenkai Palm looks like this. Very, very strange when you don't know it. When it's new to you, it looks very weird. You have this playing card just kind of clipped in your hand with your thumb, and it's protruding in all different kind of ways. And as you can see instantly from seeing this, you can tell that this is a very angle sensitive kind of palm. That being said, this palm allows you to hold your hand in a very natural position, and it does this wonderful thing which moves the playing card out of the way of your main palm, allowing you to keep your fingers open. It's a beautiful thing. Like if anybody saw your hand and the fingers are moving and not closed, it looks like an empty hand. It looks like what it's supposed to look like. There are plenty different techniques that you can, and improvements and modifications you can apply to the Tenkai Palm, allowing for your hand to look more natural. Cheers, Charlie. But the palming technique itself allows you to look like you're not holding a playing card, which is what palming is supposed to achieve anyway. The Tenkai Palm, for me and for this change, the best Tenkai Palm, the best position, you want to take the Ace of Spades, you're going to take the top right corner, the outside right corner. Whoa. There's a storm here, by the way. I know you can hear all the water against the studio window. The top outside right corner is going to press against the clunge. I believe they call this part of your hand a clunge. Press it against here, and your thumb's going to reach over the top, and you're simply going to hold it in a very relaxed manner here. You don't want any bends, you don't want to squeeze it. In fact, to modify this, a lot of people actually bend it inwards so that it wraps to the shape of your hand, so that from different angles you can actually kind of show inside this gap of the thumb too, which is quite interesting. There's no need for that in this trick though. The most important part of this palm for the fan change is that you're leaving the index exposed here, because we're going to need to purchase that on top of the deck in a few moments. So that's the basic grip for the Tenkai Palm. I will talk afterwards about how to get into this position and how to perform the trick. Right now I want to focus on the mechanics of the deception. So we're in Tenkai Palm. The next step, the next deceptive method, we're going to turn the top playing card over with finger 1, and then we're going to take the deck with the apparently empty free hand here. And what we're doing there, we're lining the Ace of Spades up on top of the King of Diamonds index right here, like this. I'm gripping the deck with my thumb and finger 2. Now from the right angle, it looks like I'm just holding the deck, and it makes it look very fair and very honest, because I can now use this hand very freely, and this looks very natural. This looks how you would hold a deck of playing cards. The dirty angle, you can see everything's in position ready for the fan change. Now the execution of the fan change to achieve it, to achieve this deceptive method, you're going to come in and execute a fan. A little bit different though. You're not going to obviously go in the middle. You're going to hold the Ace of Spades, you're going to pinch it into the corner like this of the King of Diamonds, like so. So you're going to pinch down. This hand stays where it is. Obviously you don't want to expose this Ace of Spades yet. Finger 1 is going to reach over to the side in preparation for the fan. This does two things. 1, it gets me ready to fan the deck, but 2, and more importantly, it isolates a window to show you for one last moment the King of Diamonds. I'm forcing your attention into that window, so you're looking in here because this is your only option, and it's taking your attention away from the dirty angle over here. I'm forcing you to look at the King of Diamonds one last time. Right until the very end you see that King of Diamonds. Now I'm pinching the ace on top. Now all I have to do is execute a fan. The king goes underneath the Ace of Spades just as the Ace of Spades is exposed. I now kick the deck closed, finger 1 underneath, kick it closed. Sometimes I'll use my right hand to help clean up, because you can see the king is exposed here, but I'm going to show you something in a second so you don't have to worry about that. And then we have achieved the fan change. Let's look at this from an exposed angle. There you have the fan change. Now there are some beautiful little deceptive techniques and methods that you can apply to this to make it look so much better and so much more invisible. So let's get up close and talk about the performance of the fan change. Now that you know the basic mechanics of the fan change, we're going to look at this very close up. We're going to look at all the intricacies, and I'm going to tell you everything I know about this transformation, about this color change. There's a lot going on. I know it's easy to learn in those few simple steps where you just fan the deck from a Tenkai Palm, but there's so much more to this than just that basic mechanical technique. So we're going to look at everything from start to finish. First of all, the Tenkai Palm. The Tenkai Palm, if you don't know much about the Tenkai Palm, you're going to learn the most from practicing, from trying this, and from walking around like this. Just try and do normal things with a card in Tenkai. The way that I mastered most of my palming techniques, specifically the Gambler's Cup, is by always having a playing card in the Gambler's Cup. When I go to the shop, when I go to the toilet, when I'm cooking my frozen sausages, and whatever I'm doing, I would always have a card in Gambler's Cup. It's the best way to learn, the best way to make it have, make it, cheers Charlie, best way to provide it with the most natural look to it. When people look at you, you want to look like you're not holding a playing card. The Tenkai Palm has some it's very angle sensitive. I mean, from your point of view, from your angle, when you first look at the Tenkai Palm in palm, you're going to be a bit scared of it. It's going to be a little bit weird to look down and see that card sticking out of the back, sticking out like this. It looks very strange. It feels dangerous, and it feels like it shouldn't work as well as it does. It feels like everybody can see it. It's not until you start practicing in the mirror that you realize this isn't as angle sensitive as it feels at first when you can see it here. There are so many angles that you can hide that card at, and it allows you to hold this hand in such a natural position, especially for moves and deceptions like the fan change, because I'm holding the deck like this. So many times in your deceptions, in your practices, in your performances with playing cards, you're going to hold the deck of playing cards like this. So with a card in Tenkai, you can hold the deck like this very naturally, nothing suspicious. And the card in Tenkai, like this, over the deck, is already in position for the fan change, so it's perfect for this. There is no other palming technique that we could use for the fan change. How do you get into the Tenkai? How do you get into it? It depends. Every time you perform is going to be different. You can't do the same thing every time, and I try not to be too stern and specific when I'm teaching, especially now that I'm teaching this on film, and every single one of you who goes out and does this, you're going to have a different experience. So there's a few different ways, a few different things to take on board and think about when you're getting a card into Tenkai position. For me, the easiest way possible, the deck face up, face down, so that you can see all the playing cards, and the top playing card, the Ace of Spades, I'm just going to have the deck held here, and my free hand, my left hand, is simply going to push the card very slowly to the side, like so, and it's going to move back. The right hand is going to adjust grip so that I'm pinching that card now between, in fact I'll come a bit closer, pinching that card now between the clunge and the thumb. So, and this isn't a move, by the way, this isn't even a deception, this isn't even a sleight of hand technique, this is just something that I would do while I'm talking to somebody, just before I do the trick. So I'll push the card over like this, and then I'll move it down like this. Now it's in position for me to just grip the playing card in my hand and my thumb like so. So step one is now achieved. I now have the Ace of Spades in Tenkai Palm. Very easy, it's not even a move. This is something that happens before you're even performing. And by that sense, by those rules, you might as well just take a card, put it in Tenkai, and then go up to somebody. Hey, do you want to see a magic? Not that I would suggest you do that. So now that it's in position, I'm going to turn the deck face down. This hand is now free. Now I have to hide this card. I have to work on hiding the Ace of Spades in Tenkai Palm. So I use finger one to turn over the top card like so. Now I'm showing the King of Diamonds, and I'm ready to go. Already ready to go. All I have to do is hold the deck like so. What I like to do at this point, hold the deck here, make sure the ace is lined up with the king, and pause for a moment. I'll take this hand away so that I'll do that from start to finish, in fact, just so you can see. So the Ace of Spades is on top of the deck. I turn the deck face down, face up. I move the card into Tenkai position. I adjust or change my grip, allowing the ace of spades to be on top of the deck. Turn the deck face down. Turn the top card face up with finger 1. Hold the deck. Pull my hand aside. Go and grip that ace of spades. Cheers, Charlie. Grip that ace of spades on top of the king and then execute the fan change. Everything that you're going to learn about the fan change, you're going to learn by doing it. It sounds like a cop-out from my point of view, but this is one of those things where I could really be there with you. I need to be there with you, so all I can do is teach you everything I know about this, which is what I'm trying to do. So from this position, you now end up with the ace of spades on top of the king of diamonds. So you're not really clean. You can't really just hand this out. If you want to, this becomes a development trick, a development move, because now I can execute a double turnover, a double lift, take the top card, and it's back to the king of diamonds. It depends what you want to do with it, depends how you do it, but if you wanted to end here, if you wanted to clean up here, the most simple way of doing that, because you have a king of diamonds behind the ace of spades, is lift the deck up like this so that they see the backs of these, and then simply just take the ace off like this. Now I'm very naturally hiding the king of diamonds on top of the deck, and then you can clean that up afterwards. I mean, at this point the trick's done, and you don't really need to clean up, but at the same time you need to prove that the card has changed. This made me start thinking about the fan change, completely rethinking it. So when I first taught this, I taught it just like this, just like I've told you. I've developed it so much since, to a point where I'll be in a position where I have the ace of spades and I have about, I'd say 4 cards below it. Ace of spades face up at the bottom of the deck and hold a break there. So now I will shift all of those cards into a Tenkai Palm. So I'm now palming the ace of spades and 4 other playing cards face down. What this allows is so much more freedom. I get so much more freedom now. So from here, the 5 cards at the bottom of the deck, I very simply just shift them over into Tenkai Palm, like so. I can now turn the top card over with finger 1, king of diamonds, put all of these cards on top of the king of diamonds, just here at the index. And now when I fan, the king goes behind all of those playing cards, and then when I close the fan, that was terrible. When I close the fan, I'm now completely free. In fact, let me do that again. I'm not sure if the camera picked that up. I'll do that very quickly. So all the cards move aside, Tenkai to the top, I fan. Now the king of diamonds goes behind all 5 of those playing cards, all of those top playing cards. Now I'm free. When I close the fan, I'm free to just hand out the top card or just hold out the playing card so that the participant, the audience member, whoever can take the top playing card. That's the way that I like to do it now, because it gives me that freedom at the end where the king of diamonds has vanished, you know, the king of diamonds is gone. That does bring along a little bit of a problem if you want to do something with the king of diamonds. Perhaps you've got a duplicate king of diamonds hidden somewhere, or you've planted it somewhere, it's under a book, it's in Susan's pocket, perhaps. So when you vanish it or when you change it, it doesn't matter that it's hidden near the top of the deck. It doesn't matter, because they're going to be distracted by the duplicate, by the other king of diamonds. And obviously you can take more than 4 cards beneath that ace of spades. You can take a whole bunch of them and bury that king of diamonds way deeper into the deck. You can also just do it with 1 playing card. Just get 1 playing card behind the ace of spades and that'll be enough. Once you execute the fan change and straighten the deck up, you just take the top card and the king is hiding right underneath the top card, so that could become something of its own after the fan change. I think the most important things to focus on here are the change itself, and then kind of proving without proving that there's only 1 card in play, there's only 1 card on top of the deck. So that it does genuinely look like 1 card switched somehow for another. Whether you say that's magic or sleight of hand, that's not to me, that's up to you. Something that I really love doing with this, my favorite way of performing this, my absolute favorite way. You're gonna take the ace of spades, you're gonna get 3 or 4 playing cards below it face down, so you're in the same situation that we just went over. You're gonna get these into Tenkai Palm as you're talking, as you are kind of preparing your audience. You're going to get a spectator not a spectator, you're going to get a participant, an audience member, and you're going to give them the deck, give them the playing cards. You're going to stand there palming the dirty hand, you're going to be palming the ace and the rest of the cards, and you're just going to stand there and wait for the deck back. Now what you're going to do is, while you're palming these, give the deck out and invite the participant, invite Susan Sausage to shuffle the playing cards. So she's now going to be shuffling the playing cards. Once she's done, you ask her to either turn over any playing card on top of the deck or just turn over the top playing card. It's up to you. I like the freedom of telling them to go through and pick a card that they like. The problem with this, it depends which card you've taken out of the deck, because if I've taken out somebody's favourite playing card and say, pick a card that you like, they might be looking for the ace of spades, or they might be looking for one of these four playing cards behind the ace of spades. Saying that you want a random playing card is probably the best way to go. So you tell them to shuffle the deck, go through the cards. I'm great at shuffling. Go through the cards and take out any playing card that they like. Susan Sausage takes out, this time, the nine of clubs, and she puts it on top of the deck face up. These are your instructions to her. You now ask her to give you the deck back. Hopefully she's going to do this. She's going to hold the deck out like this so that the nine of clubs is displayed nice and open, so that you can grab it with the dirty hand. I love this kind of magic, this kind of practice of deception, where I'm going to reach out now with a dirty hand and take the deck with the dirty hand, and I'm going to load these cards on top whilst the deck's in her hand. It's beautiful. It's one of those beautiful things in magic that just gets me. If they're not going to hold the deck in a position where you can lift it with this hand, or if you're a scared little girl, if it scares you a bit, if it worries you a bit going to get the deck, then just take the deck back, take it back, and it's held in your hand like this, and then you're just going to go straight into it. You take the deck back, this hand goes over onto the top, you fan the playing cards, execute the change, and everything's left to inspection. Now, obviously not everything's left to inspection, because they can go through and they can find the nine of clubs. I've had this happen once recently, and it wasn't even like they discovered the method. They looked through and they were like, wow, it's face up halfway down in the deck. It wasn't. It was face up like 5 cards down, but still, he took that as part of the story, part of the performance, part of the program, you know. So it wasn't even a bad thing. It wasn't a negative thing. As for cleaning up that card that's face up near the top of the deck, I've never worried about it. I've never thought about that really. It's a very natural and organic process. Once you've changed the card and you hand out the ace of spades for inspection, if you ever even do that, or if you just prove that it was the one and only top card, then you can very easily cut that face up card to the bottom and half pass it, turn it up, or just turn it face up openly in front of everybody. These are the kind of little nuances that you can only do it in the moment. You can only do it in the performance. There's no right or wrong. There's no real way of doing it other than right there in the moment, like all magic. Now, I'm sure that when you're practicing this, you're going to be coming up with some creative ideas. I want to give you a few creative ideas to show you a few different things that you can do with this, so that it doesn't just have to be a basic transformation. Imagine using different color playing cards, different designs, different back playing cards, so you can change the color of somebody's playing card. Just a very simple basic idea. But another idea that I really like is, if you want to control a playing card, let's say we have the King of Diamonds and I want to control this card in the deck. When I put this card into the deck, I'm going to shift it to the bottom of the deck. I'm going to get it into Tenkai Palm, and I'm going to hand the deck out for shuffling. Susan Sausage shuffles the playing cards, she gives them back to me. I take the deck back and execute a fan change, and I've now successfully controlled the King of Diamonds on top of the deck. Simply just a few more thoughts I wanted to give you for creative inspiration. So that was the fan change. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you learn the fan change, if you figure out any interesting things that you can do with it other than the control, other than the color change itself or the color change in deck, let me know. If you perform it, if you perform any of my deceptions online, tag me in them. I want to see them. I want to see what you do with them, how well you practice and perform, and I love to watch people being deceptive with playing cards. Let me know what you do with the fan change in the comment section. I'll be there right after you see this video. I am Daniel Madison. Thanks. See you next time.